Free. I'm gonna force you to what? I'm gonna force you to what? هو هو الشغل إجباري. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا. اللهم زدنا علما إنك أنت عليم الحكيم. اللهم اجعل هذه المحاضرة حجة لنا لا حجة علينا يا رب العالمين. أما بعد. So on Monday we finished the chapter dealing with water. We finished that. Now we're about to cover another chapter that is a bit interesting, but we're going to finish that tonight, inshallah. And then starting on Monday, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, we're going to start with istinja. But tonight, tonight's class shouldn't be that long. However, it's important. Tonight, we're going to talk about vessels and containers, right? So a person might say, why do we have to talk about vessels and containers? It's related to water, okay? But most of us, if not all of us, we all have running water. You have running water in your house, so why would you need to use a bucket or a vessel, etc.? And why is it even important? And why are we even talking about it? The scholars of Islam in the past, there were various methods or avenues. For example, they didn't have water the way we have running water today. And so because of that, this chapter is in the books of Islamic jurisprudence. All right. طيب. Whoever is following, what page does it start, Sheikh? What page? I'm sorry? Page 58. So we're going to be starting on page 58. It says Bab al-Aniya. Now, if I translate something that's not in that book or is translated differently, just let me know, inshallah, okay? So the first part here says Bab al-Aniya. So anytime, or chapter of vessels, anytime they start off with a chapter, so these books, they start off by saying book, like, so it's a book of purification. And inside of the book of purification, there are different chapters, right? So now we're going into the chapter of the vessels. Qala Musannif, the author here, he says, Kullu ina'in tahirin. So the first thing we have to understand is Kullu ina'in tahirin. Ina here is a vessel. Every vessel is pure. Every vessel is pure in and of itself. So that means if I have a basin, a pot, anything that I can put water in, the origin of that thing is what? Pure. Right. And then he says, Walau thaminan, even if it is expensive. In English, does it says why if and if, or what does it say? All right. So in the English, it says even if. When you look through the classical text in Arabic, it says walau. Anytime you find something like that, they say yashir ila khilaf, meaning it's indicative that there may be a difference of opinion on it. It's indicative that there may be a difference of opinion on it. This is why it says walau or even if. Even if, when it says even if, it's to let you know that some people may differ on that interpretation. Okay? So it says kullu ina'in tahirin. Every vessel in and of itself is pure. Walau thaminan, even if it is extremely expensive. Even if it is expensive. And it says yubahu ittikhaduhu wa isti'maluhu. It is permissible for us to take any type of vessel right now, right? You can take a vessel, a bowl, any type of cup, and you can use it. When they say ittikhadahu, that means you might take it and use it for decoration. Oh, isti'maluhu, or you can use it to make wudu, for cook, whatever you want to do with it. You have that right with as it relates to vessels. And then he says, illa aniyata dhahabin wa fidda, except if you have vessels of gold and silver. Now let's think about that. If anyone here has any type of gold vessels or silver vessels, it is impermissible for you to have them as a Muslim. As a Muslim, it is impermissible for us to own and use gold or silver vessels. Gold or silver vessels. And then he says, إِلَّا آنِيَةَ الذَّهَبِ وَفِضَّةٍ وَمُدَبَّبًا بِهِمَا. Or, yeah, let me see this. Or anything, one second. All right. So he says, and it's a zahabin wa fidda. So we cannot have vessels that are made of gold and silver, or any vessels that are soldered with gold and silver, meaning it's mixed in with it, gold and silver, right? He says, فَإِنَّهُ يَحْرَمُ اتِّخَاذُهَا وَاسْتِعْمَالُهَا. And they say that it is haram for a Muslim to use gold or silver vessels, or anything that is soldered with gold or silver as a vessel. It is impermissible for you as a Muslim to use them. Any questions about that? Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It says, إِنَّهَا لَكُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَلَكُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he said about the gold and silver vessels that it is for the disbelievers in this dunya and it's for the believers in the next life. Or kama qala alayhi salatu wasalam. So it says that it is impermissible for us to have them. When we say have them, let's say a person may have gold or silver bowls or vessels in their houses as decoration. You say, all right, well, I don't use it. I just use it for decoration. All right. The term ittikhaduha, that means just to have it in your possession, period, it is impermissible. Whether you use it or not. Whether you use it or not. And it says again, walau ala untha. And even if a woman were to use it, and why would they say that? Walau ala untha, even if a woman has it. Is that what it says there? Forbidden even for females. So if a person wanted to use gold vessels, right? A woman says, okay, well, I'm going to use it because maybe it's just for men. And they're thinking about the narration of the Prophet ﷺ, where we said that men cannot wear gold. Muslim men cannot wear gold. It's impermissible. However, it is permissible for Muslim women or women in general to wear gold, but not the men. So a person may apply that to this here. The difference is that gold in and of itself is permissible to have. A man can have gold, store it away, etc. However, not wearing the gold, but store it away. Keep it for yourself. Maybe you want to give it to your wife, your children, what have you, your daughters, what have you, all right? So gold in and of itself is permissible. However, the gold vessels that we put stuff in, this is impermissible. Does that make sense? Huh? So then he says, وَتَصِحُّ طَهَارَةُ مِنْهَا. So we already established that it is haram for you to have these gold vessels, right? Let's say inside this gold vessel, there's water in it. Can you make wudu from it? We said it is haram for you to have it, but can you make wudu from it? And is your wudu correct? Not everybody wants. Huh? Yes, what? You can make wudu from it. You a Broncos fan? Come on.
AFC and NFC, two different conferences.
I understand. I'm just saying I was just standing out there. But um so the question is, can you make wudu from the gold vessel? Yes, you can make wudu from it. Coke wrap. Side time we need a charger. Um, you can make wudu from it, but the wudu is okay, but you're still sinful for using the gold vessel. But the issue, we're going back. The issue of it being sinful is a different. The fact that it's impermissible because a person may not have another option. The thing is dying. Mm. Mm. Okay. All right. So then he says, وتصح طهارة منها إلا ضبة يسيرة من فضة لحاجة. So let's say, for example, we have this same vessel. It's not gold. It's not silver. However, they did use a piece of it, a piece of silver, to kind of fix it if it was cracked. In this regard, you can use it out of necessity. Meaning, if you have a regular vessel made from something other than gold and silver, and you use a piece of silver to mend it if it was broken, then in this case, it becomes permissible. Yes, better now. Due to the hadith of the Prophet والسلام, where he said, قَدَحَ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم انكسر فاتخذ مكان الشعب سلسلة من فضة. A Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he had a container that broke. They cracked. And so he used a piece of silver to mend that crack that was in it. It says, وَتُكْرَهُ مُبَاشَرَتُهَا لِغَيْرِ حَاجَةٍ. Meaning, if you're going to use this vessel, the part that has the silver on, you're not going to put that to your mouth. You'll use another side of it, unless it's a necessity, right? طيب. That was easy, right? All right, so now we're going to, yes. So if the solder fixed, you can use it. No, if it's soldered with gold and silver, like meaning if it was like blended together, the only time you can use it if it's has some type of solder in it. It depends on how you define solder. Solder means what? To mend it together, right? So let's say, for example, you drop it, you break it, a piece falls out of it, like it cracks, a small crack. It says you could use a small piece of silver to mend it back together, a small piece of silver. That's what makes it permissible. However, if you have a gold and silver vessel, or you have it mixed together with gold and silver, it's impermissible. Okay. Right. So now we're going to talk about vessels from non-Muslims. Vessels from non-Muslims. قال المصنف رحمه الله, he says, وَتَبَاحُ آنِيَةُ كُفَّارٍ. It is permissible to use the pots and pans of non-Muslims. It's permissible. You never heard that before? Okay. That you can or you can't. I didn't say you can't. I said you can. Yeah, you can. You didn't know that you can, or you didn't? Oh, I don't know. No, I didn't say that. No, you can. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you can. You can use the vessels of non-Muslims. Tubah. Tubah means it's permissible to use. Okay? As long as you know that there was nothing impermissible cooked in it at that time, right? But in general, it's permissible to use. However, you're not going to use it if you find that there's some pork in there or anything that's impermissible for Muslim, alcohol or whatever. You're not going to use it then. It says tabahu aniyatu kuffar walau lam tahid dhabahihuhum. It's permissible to use their utensils in terms of their vessels, their pots and pans, etc., even though their meat may not be permissible for us to eat. And likewise, thiyabahum and juhila haloha, even their garments, right? So let's say, for example, you have non-Muslim family members and they want to give you some clothes. Some people might say, no, I can't wear their clothes. They weren't Muslim. The origin is that the clothing that you get is permissible to wear. The origin of the clothing is that is what? That it is permissible to wear, that is allowable to wear, right? The only time you wouldn't be allowed to wear it is if you know for a fact there's impurities in the clothing. Does that make sense? And in that case, what do you do if you find impurities in the clothing? You clean it. All right? We was about to say throw it out. No, you clean it. You wash it. It's easy. All right? طيب. Like I said, tonight, inshallah, this section is very short. The next part says, all right. So now we're going to talk about skin, animal skin. I say, for example, you find like a sheep or something on the side of the road. Can you use the skin for something? Can you use the skin of a goat, etc.? So it says, "Wala yatharu jildu meitatin bid-dibagh." So according to the author of this book, and there's a reason why I'm saying according to the author. According to the author, he says that you cannot purify skin of an animal, a dead animal, by tanning it. Tanning it. What's the word for tanning? What does it say in there? It says tanning. Like drying it out, using it for something else, right? All right. Dyeing it, right? However, the scholars of Islam may differ on this. So many of the scholars of the past, they say, they say you can, some of the skin of animals is permissible to use only if those animals were permissible to eat in their life, or if they were pure animals in their lifetime. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, a pig. We'll get to that in a minute. The skin of a pig is not permissible, even if you dry it out to take it for yourself, etc. Right? But if you take the skin of like a goat or something like that, these are animals that are pure in their life, meaning you can eat them, etc. When they die, if you can tan out their skin and use it for something else. It says, وَيُبَاحُ اسْتِعْمَالُهُ بَعْدَ الدَّبْخِ فِي يَابِسٍ فِي حَيَوَانٍ طَاهِرٍ فِي حَيَاةٍ. And likewise, it said it's permissible to use the skin of those dead animals as long as it is dry and the animal is pure in their lifetime. Simple, right? Any questions about that? All right. All right, this is the last part. And this is honestly, this small chapter here is a chapter that many people may not be able to relate to because we don't, I can't see you skinning an animal and trying to keep the skin. Like that's not something that is common here. So it may not have much relevance. However, it is important to know. And the last part here says, so that principle that we mentioned, that which is pure for, if the animal's skin or what have you may be usable if that animal is pure in its lifetime. Does that make sense? We mentioned like a goat or a sheep versus a pig, right? So here, this part here says, وَعَظْمُ مَيْتَةِ وَلَبْنُهَا وَكُلُّ أَجْزَائِهَا نَجِسَةٌ. It says, any deceased animal in and of itself, and when we say a deceased animal, we mean an animal that, let's say, roadkill. You're driving and you hit a deer, right? The deer is considered a pure animal. It's not considered najis while it's alive, right? But let's assume you run your car, boom, you hit a deer. And you're just like, wow, I want to be able to use the bones, right? So it says, Adamu maitati, if you, the bones of the deer, the meat, the milk of the deer, wa kullu ajzaiha najasa, meaning every aspect of that deer is impermissible to use because it's meta. The term meta means it was killed or you found it dead, not that it was slaughtered. There's a difference between the two. If you slaughter an animal, then the animal is different. You can use whatever you want to eat, etc. But if you find the animal dead or you kill the animal by running over a car or something like that, then it is now considered meta, right? So it says غير شعري ونحوه. The only thing that becomes permissible on that dead animal to use after it is dead or through roadkill, etc., is like the hair, the sha'r, like the wool or something like that, right? Does that make sense? All right, so I have a question. Is it permissible to use boar bristle brushes? Anyone ever hear boar bristle brushes? It sounds like a tongue to it. Boar bristle brushes. Is it permissible to use? Boar. What's a boar? A pig. Is it permissible to use pig hair brushes? Dad, you can hear a pin drop in this, Ho. Is it permissible? He's sweating like, hold up, cuz. Let me get out of here. Come back. Don't leave. Is it permissible to use boar bristle brushes? No, it's impermissible. It's impermissible. Why is it impermissible? Because we mentioned the principle that they use. The animals that are pure in their lifetime, then certain aspects become still pure. So say for example, we have two animals, right? Let's say a camel. Somebody made camel hair brushes versus a pig, right? All right. You run into a camel, it dies roadkill. You run into a pig, it dies roadkill, right? Dad, I wanna get a brush real quick. What can I do? Which animal could you use? The camel. Why can't you use the camel? Because it was pure before it died, meaning you could actually eat camel meat. The pig, why is it not permissible to use that hair? Huh? Not only is haram, but yes, haram, but because during its lifetime we could not benefit from it. Does that make sense? So therefore, based on that premise, boar bristle brushes are impermissible for a Muslim to use. Well, is that clear? طيب. And then it says, وَمَا أُبِينَ مِنْ حَيٍّ كَمَيْتَتِهِ. All right. So whatever is cut off, let's say, for example, we have an animal that has a leg, right? Let's say an animal was walking and someone cut the leg off of an animal while it was still alive. That piece that was severed from the animal, if you try to use it, it's almost as if you found it dead. So then it also becomes impermissible to use. Bam. And with that, we're going to finish the chapter of vessels. The next chapter on Monday, inshallah, we'll be starting the chapter of istinja, how to use the bathroom. The proper etiquettes, different sunan as it relates to using the bathroom. And then we'll get into siwak. Then we'll get into how to make wudu. So there's a lot to be covered, inshallah ta'ala, moving forward. Any questions?
say I'm driving in the car, I hit a dead, boom, and I was flipping on the side of my car, so boom, get out. But he's still breathing, he's still living. Would it be permissible to
slaughter?
Yeah.
Allah Alam.
It
seemed, in honesty, Allah knows best, and this is min bab ta'lim, it would seem like you would, I don't know any prohibitors from you doing that. Now, the thing about it is, to pick an animal like that to slaughter is not good. To, like, meaning if you see animal crippled, you say, oh, I want to go get that one. That wouldn't be allowable if it came to, like, for example, certain religious rituals when it comes to slaughtering. However, in a case like that, Allah knows best. It seemed like it would be, and Allah knows best. Allah bets. Any other questions? Yes, Sheikh.
So when you said the vessel, what's kind of like you might go out to a restaurant and it's like they cooking wine or something like that. But by the time you get to you, it ain't like whole.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, you just go out. Say you go out.
So you go out, you go to a restaurant.
Yeah. And you say you order something and it says cooked in white wine or something like that.
Cooked in white wine, okay.
And it says that whatever the vessel is, by the time it gets to you, it ain't like they just cooking it in the wine. Is that still
what vessel?
like a pan, whatever?
I'm confused. I'm confused about what are you asking?
As far as will it be permissible to eat that out that vessel or whatever like that, whatever they serving it to you?
Is it permissible to eat the food out of a pan that cooks something in white wine? Do you know for a fact that that's what was done? Allah alam, Sheikh. Allah alam. What I understand from what you're saying is, you know for a fact that they're putting wine in the vessel. Yeah, Allah alam. You might find some scholars differ on that. And the simple fact is, if it's cooked in it, they might say it burns off. Right? That's an argument. Some people say that some of the scholars say that if you buy food that has, for example, they're saying cooked in such and such wine, right? And they say, well, the alcohol is burnt out or stays in. Allahu alam. I don't know. I would stay away from it though. Right? All right. Anyone else? You good, Sheikh? Alhamdulillah. Right. So we're going to start with that. We'll pick up, inshallah, on the Bab al-Istinja. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.